blogs. Movable type is the blog system, and the only reason we've gone with movable type. There's movable type, there's WordPress. Those are the two major ones that are found on the World Wide Web. A blog, for those of you that don't know what that is, it's called weblog, so they just shortened it into blogs, which is kind of a funny name. But we do have teachers who are using it as a resource to communicate with their class. So this is Mr. Edwards. You know which school he's from?
St. Luke's.
Okay. So he's using this to communicate with his classroom. On here, if you go up to the top here, you can register by putting your email in there, so parents or anyone who's a community, within the community of that classroom, can enter their name in there. So grandparents, parents, children, whoever can put their email subscription in there. Anytime Mr. Edwards updates his blog, it would send off an email to that person saying there's a new update, here's a new calendar entry, here's a new pictures or something that would come up on that site. This is a method that way back in 2003, I started to use this method of communicate to my staff, because I had a real problem with my staff being all over the place, some of them not showing up, and some of them being geeks and on the internet all the time. I thought this is the best way to communicate with my staff. So I started a blog that's called Tato, and I started it back in 2003 and just started to put in websites that I thought would be good for my English teachers, for my history teachers, and just information about online learning, articles, and all those other things. So this is teaching and developing online. I was writing it for 29 people. Here's something that, this is the power of the internet. When I started this in 2003, I started to look on the World Wide Web to see, like every so often I type in my name, which is a great exercise. You should try that sometime. Type in your name and see if there's anything out there about you or someone with exactly the same name. I typed in my name and I came across an article that said Darren Cannell, and then it was all in Japanese. So I'm curious as to what this is. So then I took that article and I put it right onto my Tato, and within 15 minutes of it being posted there, I had requested someone translate that. Within 15 minutes of it being posted, it was translated. In another hour and a half, I got a second translation. So now I'm thinking, according to my counter, and I have counters at the bottom, I was getting about 18 hits a day, which I thought was pretty accurate for my students, or my teachers, reading my blog. What I found out was through this RSS feeds and through all sorts of other systems, other people are reading it around the world. When I posted something at 2 o'clock in the morning and I get someone translating that within 15 minutes, there had to be a lot of people reading. So I went and did some research to find out who's actually reading this thing that I was writing for my staff, and found out that there's over 1,000 people reading these entries a day. To me, that was a scary thing, that I was writing these humorous things, and I was writing quotes of the day, and I was putting on these video things to share with my staff. Once I got past the point that that's not scary, that's why there was 1,000 people reading it, is because people who are running a cyber school were interested in what we're doing that works and what doesn't work. And so the community, just because it was so huge, wasn't a scary thing. It actually helped, because now some of the things that I posted in here, one of the things we had an issue with was the class size in cyber school. How big should the class be? So one of my teachers went out and did a little bit of research, wrote an article, threw that into the blog, and got a response back from someone else who was running a cyber school. And so this is the same concept as a learning communities. If you invite in more people into your community, you're going to have a much more vibrant communication system and a lot more